Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today we want to work on the wizard tunnel bore again. We're not quite there yet because there's still one problem that could plague the machine. It's gravel. So there are a lot of comments on the last video that ask why did run the tunnel bore on top of the nether, not at the bottom where there's more ancient debris. The answer is gravel. So gravel can generate up to Y41 in the nether, and currently it would just break the tunnel bore. So I can quickly demonstrate what would happen. So here you have gravel sitting on a normal block. The wizard would move forward, break this, and then all the gravel is falling down, which is quite an issue. So I'm gonna start a tunnel bore here real quick. And we will quickly see why this is an issue. So here the gravel would fall down. But just imagine you would have a lot of gravel here. And then it would just land in front of the wizard. There we go, now it falls down. And so, yeah, the machine pretty much broke because we couldn't push this part forward anymore. So currently gravel does break the machine. You can just get around this by building the machine above Y41. But of course you wouldn't get as much ancient debris there. But today we want to actually make this machine gravel proof as well. So I do have an idea how we can deal with the gravel, but there's probably going to be a lot of issues with it. Hopefully we can work around those. So the basic idea how we can deal with the gravel is to have a block like a slab in front that doesn't allow the falling block entity to transform into a block. Yeah, we get items instead. So there's of course a lot of issues with this. So we can't really have the slabs here. So one requirement of this whole tunnel bore is that the blocks surrounding the wizard are pushed at the exact moment when the wizard is actually breaking the blocks. So moving blocks, so-called block 36, can't be broken by the wizard block breaking attack. They can be broken by explosions, for example, but not by the wizard block breaking attack. This was, I think, changed in 1.13, so it's not been in the game for too long. Alright, but here's the issue. So we would need to move those slabs forward, but of course those blocks that aren't broken yet, here I just placed on some copper in front of the wizard tunnel bore, of course might prevent it that we can move those slabs forward. So what we would need to do is we need to pull those slabs back, move them forward, and then move them one out again. So we would basically need pistons here. Okay, here we already have the first issue. QC powering of the sticky piston, it would grab the blocks. So this is easy to solve. We can just use a normal trapdoor, luckily. The trapdoor, by the way, has the function to push the wizard a little bit out of the block here, so he actually breaks blocks in front. If you don't have it, then he wouldn't even break those blocks here in front. So that's why we need a trapdoor here. Okay. Then second issue is this sticky piston. Actually, they need to be right here. This sticky piston here would push out the wizard, which we definitely don't want. So if the wizard would get pushed out, he can just then easily escape and attack the chicken or small magma cube we have in the minecart here. I was using a small magma cube because I had sometimes weird issues with the chickens dying. There was lava surrounding them. Shouldn't have happened, but sometimes Minecraft is weird. That's why I was using the small magma cube instead, which can't be killed by any fire or lava damage. Alright, so we can't have a sticky piston here, unfortunately. That also means we can't really grab the slab here. How do we deal with the gravel in the center of the tunnel bore then? Well, we can definitely put another wizard tunnel bore on top with an offset of one block. So we would have the next one over here. So like this. And all the gravel that can fall down from up to up here would then be covered by a slab. Okay. Then we have an additional problem. That's something I actually only noticed for running the tunnel bore for thousands of blocks again. Sometimes lava can actually affect the wizard as well. That's pretty annoying. So if you have lava flowing to the front here, which sometimes happens, I'll show this real quick. So sometimes in rare constellation it happens that we have lava flowing forwards here. And this actually also pushes the wizard out of the holding cell. But there's a way to get around this. I need to implement this in order to make the tunnel bore reliable. And that's adding an open fence gate there. It was a nether variant, so it wouldn't catch fire. Okay, so we need to add this block somehow, and then also blocks in the back to push it forward. So here we don't need a sticky piston or anything. We just need to make sure that we push the blocks under the slime blocks first with a piston, so they wouldn't attach to the slime. So you can definitely push a lot of stuff the same tick. Just need to make sure the update order is right. So we need to make sure this piston is activated before this piston tries to push, and then we can also make this work. So that's something we also need to add. Alright, then I also want to redo the side here with the whole block that damages the wither. So this copper block here is pushed in with a 1 tick pulse, so not a 0 tick pulse, which actually pushes the wither back half a block. Would actually be nicer if we could use a 0 tick instead. So what I'm using right now is this setup here. We got a redstone block that is pushed out and pulled back, so that's why we got double observer setup. And then this here extends just for a short moment and also retracts the redstone block. And and then we 1 tick pulse out this sticky piston. And there's another observer on the side that triggers the sticky piston second time to pull it back in. It's probably best if I showed it real quick. Alright, so check it out. Push this part forward here. Then we push the redstone block out and pull it back. And then, this was enough to do only 1 tick pulse this copper block. So the wizard wasn't completely pushed out of it. So we need this special, powering sequence. Okay, here it goes again. It's probably best if you show it at normal speed so you can actually see it better. There we go. Okay, so I want to change the setup and I already have an idea how to do it. Okay, so this is the setup I want to use instead. So first we just push forward this segment with the 2 pistons. The bottom piston is going to be powered by the redstone block and it's going to push forward the bottom observer 1 tick before the top piston. So the top piston is just powered by the observer. So here basically the bottom piston is a 3 tick delay and the top section a 4 tick delay. And that means the observers here would power the sticky piston for 3 ticks in total, which is enough for the redstone block to extend, 0 tick power this piston here and retract again. Okay, let's see it. It's a little bit earlier than this one here. Check what we're doing here. Yeah, we're 0 tick this piston. Okay, so we're gonna use that setup instead. I think the other side where we just power the sticky piston the second time, we're just gonna keep it the same. But now let's work on the actual problem, so with those slab gravel breakers here in front. So what we basically need to do is have a setup like this that pulls in the slab, moves it forward, and then pushes it out again. And this also has to be timed with the rest of the machine. Quite complicated actually. So this already does the job, but it has one flaw. I'm just gonna slow it down again so we can easily see it. So what's gonna happen is the piston will be pushed in front of the observer here, which causes the sticky piston to pull in the slab. Then we have the double observer setup, so we're gonna try to push out the rest again. Okay, let's see it. We pull in the block, then push again, then the observer is gonna trigger again, pushing out the slab. But this unfortunately has one problem. The detection side of the observer is not covered. So lava flowing in here at the wrong moment could trigger the observer and activate it. So we definitely don't want that. I tried to get around this issue and came up with a solution, which has another flaw. It's too slow. So instead we could also just push a redstone block against the redstone lamp and it basically does the same. So let's see it real quick. There we go. And now I push the whole thing forward. Of course, we still need to pull back the redstone block. So what we're gonna do here. Have to do it another time. Okay, now the redstone lamp turns off a little bit later. and the slab is pushed out. But this is actually a bit too slow. Gravel falling in front here is not actually caught by the slab because this takes too long. So unfortunately, this setup is also not viable. So what we wanna do instead is, so we move the whole thing forward, and immediately after that, pull in the slab, and then just push the whole contraption forward like this, and push the slab out again. Okay, so we can just add. This was also one of the reasons why it sort of might be best if we get rid of this section here with the redstone block, because we need to power this somehow. So my idea was that we can already use maybe the redstone block and just power maybe a node block or something like that. And yeah, trigger the observer this way. Okay. So I guess it's now time to put everything together. There's gonna be a lot of issues, but as soon as we're gonna take some time. So it's been a couple hours, but I got it to work. There were a lot of issues. But I'm quite hopeful that all of those were fixed now. Also the optics were changed a little bit. So we're actually using stone cutters now instead of slabs in front, because those are actually movable, but look a little bit more badass. And the wizard damaging block is now a chiseled red sandstone. Alright, those are the optics. Yeah, definitely got a bit more complicated, but I think I got it to work. All the observers are covered. Let's just move it forward. Alright, here we go. So what's actually happening is we push this section forward here, powers the node block. And yeah, we pull in the stone cutters. Okay, the wizard was also damaged already. Then everything is just moved at the right moment. There we go. And yeah, the wizard moves one forward. Okay, so next time we push this forward, this should already work. And gravel should be dealt with. Okay, the other side we basically have the same setup here with the observer to pull in the stone cutters. There we go. Damaging system. Then we move the wizard just in the right moment. Okay, to break the blocks, and we deal with the gravel. Okay, once again, this time at real speed. There we go. I also managed to get this fence gate in that I was talking about earlier to deal with lava flushing the wizard out there. Alright. Yeah, everything should be functional. I'm gonna stack some modules on top of each other and add an engine in the back, and then this whole thing should hopefully be working. Alright, so there we go. We got 4 wizards in total, and here the offset of 1. It's actually a bit challenging to make sure that the segments don't affect each other. So for example, one issue that I had that was easy to fix was those observers here were QC powering the pistons here at the bottom. So I had to move everything around a little bit to make it work again, but I think I got rid of all the issues. Okay, then let's start it. Using quite a slow engine actually in the back, because it takes quite some time for all the gravel to fall down from the top to the bottom stone cutter here, and there can be multiple gravel on top of each other, so it actually takes quite some time. But yeah, here we go. Let's launch this. Yeah, really slow engine here in the back. Definitely one of the downsides of making it gravel proof. Yeah, as you can see, everything is pushed forward. Just need to run it into some actual gravel now. So I'm just gonna tick rate, accelerate this, so we can see it working. Okay, here we go. Hopefully there's also actually some gravel in the way. But at least this part is working pretty well. There we go, got some gravel here at the bottom. Doesn't even fall down. Yeah, it's pretty solid. I was already testing this earlier. Didn't have any issues. So maybe I should just place some gravel on my own for the showcase. might be a good idea. Gravel, please. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's also the right layer here. Okay, here we go. Gravel is falling down. It's getting destroyed there. It's just what we wanted. Perfect. Okay, so let's run this a little bit longer and see if it's reliable. I think now I really thought of everything and got rid of all the issues that were left over. The machine unfortunately got quite complicated, and one of the downsides we're having right now is with the 2 high version, all the items would be pushed forward by the bottom section, which we just added. So I couldn't even collect any of the ancient debris right now. Also, another issue that we're having is the shape of the tunnel with the offset. It's rather inconvenient. The last version of the tunnel bore had this basalt maker that made a nice roof and so on. We would also need to redesign this, or actually run another wizard in the bottom left and top right here that would get rid of the single layer of blocks there. But yeah, it's looking pretty good, I'd say. Random wizard, yeah, we've done some testing here. But apart from that, looks pretty good. I'd say we just run this for a couple hundred or a couple thousand blocks, see if we run into any problems. Oh man, after about 1200 blocks, the machine still broke, and the reason was floating gravel. That's something kinda considered for a moment, but then forgot about it again. So this is just a bug in the world generation. You can see it here, moching so nice to actually add particles if sand or gravel is floating, instead of just fixing this bug that, get the floating gravel. And of course, if you would now break this netherrack here on the side, then the gravel on top would fall down, updates the block besides, and then we have also gravel falling down at the back of the machine. And this happened exactly here. We got we got gravel falling into the machinery, basically breaking it. Oof, this would be really hard to fix. Let me actually think about this, if this is even possible. We might be able to do something. So what we actually also need is some blocks that would also break the gravel here on the side. So this is definitely possible. Instead of the diamond block, we can definitely use soul sand. So this would deal with the gravel here on the side. Then here, instead of the glass block, we would need soul sand again. And I'm not sure how far gravel can actually float, but I think we have to, like, those blobs. I don't think it would go further than like 5 blocks. We could replace all of those blocks here, soul sand. And on the other side, we actually don't have any blocks yet, so we can also add soul sand here. Place this with soul sand. Okay. Then in the middle, so we have this slab which keeps the wizard the perfect height. I don't think there's any replacement for the slab. Okay, so we already have the case that gravel could land here, and then everything below would get moved forward, and the gravel just stays in place. Now, even if we would put a slab there, the gravel doesn't fall down, it would just get pulled along. Or basically, the machine is getting pulled under the gravel. Okay, at some point it would end up here, and then fall into this piston setup. So we would need to fix this. So if the gravel falls down, it needs to fall on, I guess, non-piston. We need some soul sand below. Not sure. This looks like a major redesign, to be honest. I'm not sure if I can make that work. Of course, we need this block. Open fence scale would also not help, as far as I know. This would... We tried it. Stuff doesn't fall through. Right, real quick. Push in an open fence gate. Under the gravel. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, we have a big problem here. Okay, I got a super dumb idea. We could maybe have a piston there that is constantly getting triggered. And if you have gravel above, it had to fall down from somewhere. And after that didn't move, right? So if you push this in just at the right time, it would deal with it. But then the whole clock in the back would also need to be synchronized. So we push this piston forward just in the right moment while it's depowered. Let me actually think about this. This might become a problem. But it should be doable. Okay, super dumb. But then we have to synchronize the whole machine here with the engine in the back. That sounds really annoying. But I guess that's a way to deal with it. Okay, we got the adjusted version. I already tried it out and found something really interesting. Okay, blocks got pushed in. The machine is pushed forward. Didn't really get the timing right here in the back, so sometimes this piston doesn't get moved forward. But somehow the part in front still gets moved. It's a bit odd. I don't quite get it. But what I already did is I put a slab, a bottom slab down here. So this could also be helpful. Instead of pulsing the piston, I think I just need to get the engine in the back to work. But currently it would also work. Then stuff would just fall down on the slab here. So either this piston does the job or stuff falls down. I'd say this is looking pretty good. So we got plenty of soul sand here. I already flew around in the nether and wanted to see like how far this whole soul sand, the whole gravel could go. And furthest I've seen was 7 blocks. So it would be just right around this level here. If it would land here on top of the observer, then we have an issue, then it would fall down in this gap. And currently, I don't think I can replace the glazed terracotta there. Too bad we don't have glazed terracotta slabs, but I'd say I'm just gonna test this now for a couple hundred blocks, see if it breaks. Kind of funny here at the bottom of the lava lake, you can see where the tunnel bore went through, because all the blocks get pushed up. Alright, here comes the machine, let's keep going. Alright, so the tunnel bore has traveled around 1500 blocks, and you can see some gravel being taken care of, but I actually came across something that would be probably the absolute nightmare for the tunnel bore. So look at this floating gravel here. This looks really bad. So what would be the worst case? We update, fly in from where exactly? No, that doesn't even look that bad. Probably the piston that we have would maybe update this gravel here and everything falls down at the back of it. Yeah, that might happen. This might happen. Then it could still land in the machinery. But it would definitely be super rare that something like this might happen. But yeah, dealing with all weird gravel shapes, there's probably even like on a super specific seed, a 20 long strip of floating gravel. How are we supposed to deal with that? So this is definitely a huge issue, and I don't think there's a really nice fix for it that deals with like the worst possible gravel shape, unless we would try to completely redesign this. But I think this is pretty good already, so it can definitely run for several thousand or probably 10,000 blocks without breaking. I'm pretty happy with it. There we go, I found an even worse strip of floating gravel. So the machine is still going after 12,000 blocks. I'd say that's pretty damn good. I'll definitely try to keep working on this. Maybe it's actually possible to make the perfect gravel-proof flying machine. Then one more question might have, so since we made this basically gravel-proof, what about the overworld? Can we also use the machine there? Since we can deal with gravel and sand and all of that now. Unfortunately, there's still one thing that can break it, which is cobblestone generators. And I'm afraid there won't be a fix for that. So it's basically, you have a cobblestone generator in front of the machine. The wizard would break the cobblestone, but then the cobblestone generates again. And you would need to break it again, which is not really possible. So I'm afraid this machine will stay nether only. And of course, if you run this machine on a layer without gravel, so at the top of the nether, then technically it should be able to fly to the world border. Okay, so there's definitely a lot of thought that has to go into those machines. You saw some of the effort. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks guys for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.